Good evening, friends. Thank you for joining Candid Bina every evening to follow what's happening in India and abroad. And thank you for sending me your valuable comments. If you believe in this channel, do hit the like button, share it with your friends, and spread the message. Our only mission is to bring you the truth and both sides of the story. Thank you for your support. Today, Jaydev joins me in this session. Welcome, Jaydev.
Good evening to everyone.
Yeah. As you see, Jaydev, what's been happening in the social media is full of angst for a hero, his wife, and his team. Yes, it's strange that someone we never met before has affected us so deeply. Many of us felt depressed and were unable to function normally after hearing the demise of General, and the feeling of sorrow, deep loss, and pain has affected most of us collectively. It is as if we have lost someone very close. Though we saw him only on TV and in news debates, we admired him from far. But the kind of impact his demise has on us has been immense. It's like losing a father. This is perhaps like what our Prime Minister Narendra Modi represents, someone who has the power to shield us from attack. A man, this general is a man who has the power, who had the power to protect us from a war-like situation or war itself. Yes, like a father who cared for his family, he cared for India deeply. Most people have reacted in the same manner. A cobbler in Ahmedabad paid heartfelt tribute to CDS Bipin Rawat, and this picture went viral. He placed a saffron cloth on a plank and put flowers and incense sticks before a picture of General Rawat, while many Islamists abused and mocked it by saying this was an act of karma. IIT Delhi took cognizance of a hateful tweet by a student on General Rawat's demise, and that action would be taken against them. Many have been arrested for such tweets. The Modi, derangement syndrome has reached such staggering proportions that in their mad hate for the Prime Minister of the country, the liberals and the Islamists, most of who reject the very concept of nationalism, have lost their senses and their sense of reasoning and have started hating everything that's Indian and Hindu. Now, Nisha, one of our viewers, has sent a very beautiful message from the daughter of a retired army general. To all the clueless people who are screaming karma on General Bipin Rawat's death, a soldier accrues no karma. When he fights a war to protect his people or his nation, because he is following his dharma of being a soldier, he is only doing his duty and will be blessed with all good karma only. Thank you, Nisha, for posting this very important, message from the daughter of a retired army general. In Twitter, many of us have changed our DPs to the picture of General Bipin Rawat as we stand in solidarity with him. Twitter is filled with his images. What a befitting tribute from Indians from all over the world. This loss is a great one, and it is at this moment we Indians should stand together with the Prime Minister, because he needs us now more than ever. And it is this unity which will protect us from further attacks. We should also be prepared to face these cowardly forces that want to divide and tear India apart. Therefore, friends, we need to pledge our loyalty to our country and our leader as we face troubled times. Together, we'll be able to fight any calamity. General Bipin Rawat wanted to visit his wife's ancestral home next year, said a kin. The Indian Army's much venerated general shared a strong bond with Shahdol in Madhya Pradesh. He got married to Madhulika, the daughter of late Kumar Brijendra Singh of Sohagpur, Garhi, in the Shahdol district back in 1986 when he was still the captain in the army. Chief of Defence Staff, CDS Bipin Rawat, who lost his life in service to India after meeting with a tragic air accident on Wednesday, had been an army man to the core, dedicated to serving the nation till the very end. Talking to media, Rawat's brother-in-law, Yashvardhan Singh, recalled how the four-star general had promised to visit his wife's ancestral home at Madhya Pradesh, Shahdol, in January next year and set up a Sainik school in the district to help underprivileged students prepare themselves to be inducted to the armed forces. The Indian Army's much venerated general shared a strong bond with Shahdol. And moving on to also the fact that this much venerated general, you know, uh, he was also one second. On Wednesday, Madhulika also happened to be in the Mi-17 V5 military helicopter that crashed near Kunur in Tamil Nadu. The Indian Air Force later confirmed that she, along with her husband and 11 other armed force personnel, had died in the accident. The sole survivor from the chopper crash a day prior is Group Captain Varun Singh, presently fighting for his life at a military hospital in Wellington. Now he has been apparently shifted to Bangalore. Speaking to media regarding the incident, Madhulika Rawat's brother Yashwardhan said that he received information about the chopper crash on the phone. While in Bhopal at that time, he later rushed to Delhi in a special flight arranged by the Indian Army. My mother, who's quite old and is in Shardol, will also leave for Delhi late at night, along with the army officials from Jabalpur, Singh said. So far, she's not aware of this tragic incident, and a close relative will soon reach our ancestral home to tell her about the crash. The officials are reaching Shahdol to accompany her. Meanwhile, you can tell us about the Air Marshal Manvendra Singh's appointment, Jaidev.
Yeah. So, who is Air Marshal Manvendra Singh? So, Air Officer Commanding in Chief Training Command, Air Marshal Manvendra Singh assumed his office on September 25th this year. So, with a career spanning over 38 years in the Indian Air Force, the Air Marshal has over 6,600 hours of flying experience in sectors ranging from Siachen to
Yeah, before
Northeast.
that, Jaidev, I think you should also tell them that he's going to head the Tri-Services Chopper Crash Probe.
Yeah, so I'm coming to
He's the
that.
one who's
So,
been assigned to do the
yeah,
probe.
so this person, Manvendra Singh, he has been appointed to head the Tri-Services inquiry into the Indian Air Force chopper crash. And here's an account of who he is. So a probe into the matter was announced by the Indian Air Force on December 8th after the chopper, which is the IAF Mi 17 V5, crashed near Kunnur, Tamil Nadu. So as you know, like he has over 6,600 hours of flying experience in sectors ranging from Siachen to Northeast, Uttarakhand, and Western Desert. So now he has also commanded various frontline air bases besides the IAF peacekeeping troops in Bukavu in Congo, as reported by media. Now, Air Marshal Manvendra Singh is an alumnus of National Defense Academy, Defense Services Staff College, Wellington, and Joint Forces Staff College in Norfolk, Virginia, and was previously posted as the Commander in Chief of the Southern Air Command. He is trained in a variety of helicopters and trainer aircraft and was commissioned in the Flying Branch or the Indian Air Force in December 1982 as a helicopter pilot. The esteemed officer has several gallantry awards under his belt for his commendable service to the nation. As per PRO Defense Trivandrum, he is a recipient of the Adi Vishish Seva Medal, Vishisht Seva Medal, and Veer Chakra, which is a wartime military bravery award presented for acts of conspicuous gallantry against the enemy on the battlefield. Now, strangely, one of the ambulances carrying the mortal remains of the Indian Air Force's chopper crash victims met with an accident. The body of the deceased was shifted to another ambulance. The police officers accompanying the remains in the ambulance sustained minor injuries, as shown in the video of the aftermath of the incident, shared by AsiaNet. The ambulance seems to have lost its balance and hit the mountain on the side of the road.
Yeah.
4 police personnel could be seen sitting on the road receiving first aid, while one of the officers stood up. The other officers seemed to have got injuries in the legs. After the mortal remains were shifted in another ambulance, the convoy of the ambulances left for the airport from the remains would be shifted to Delhi. While the ambulances were passing through Kuno, the locals stood on the sides of the roads and paid a floral tribute while chanting Bharat Mata Ki Jai to pay respect to CDS General Bipin Rawat and the other deceased souls. So
Absolutely.
yeah, so this is very strange that one of the ambulances carrying the
Yeah.
remains
Yeah.
met with an
And
accident.
also, yeah, and also what is so applaudable is that India became one. Indians from all of the world, became one in their tribute to this heroic general and his team, his wife. So here, friends, I'd like to know, like you all to know a little bit more about his wife, who has also done a lot while she was his wife, acting as his wife as well. So let us know a little bit more about Madhulika Rawat, wife of CDS General Bipin Rawat, killed in the helicopter crash in Tamil Nadu. The soft, well read, socially active Madhulika Rawat is the daughter of the late politician Brigendra Singh, who was native of Shahdol in Madhya Pradesh. Chief of Defence Staff General Bipin Rawat and his wife Madhulika Rawat were on board IAF Mi-17VH helicopter with 11 other top army officers who died in an air crash in an unfortunate incident near the Upper Kunur region at around noon on Wednesday. CDS General Bipin Rawat was on his way to attend a cadet interaction program in the afternoon at the Defence Service Staff College, Wellington. General and his wife held each other's hands throughout their lives. In the same way, they embraced death by holding each other's hands. The power couple got married in 85 and are survived by two daughters. From then till the last day, Madhulika Rawat remained with her husband, General Bipin Rawat, like a shield. She stood behind General Rawat as a pillar of strength of her husband and also contributed in a big way through the Army Wives Welfare Association as president of AWWA. She was also involved with NGOs like Veer Naris, which helps widows of military personnel, differently abled children, and cancer patients. She had been empowering the army wives by encouraging them to take up courses in tailoring, knitting, bag making, beautician courses, and cakes and chocolate making for their financial independence. Her father, Kunwar Mrigendra Singh, was a Riyasatdar of Sohagpur Riyasat in Shahdol district, who went on to become Congress MLA in 67 and 72. The general's brother-in-law and Madhulika's brother is Yashwardhan Singh, and his daughter is a national level shooter. She was an alumnus of Gwalior's prestigious Sindhya Kanya Vidyalaya. She had also visited Sohagpur Riyasat in Shahdol in 2012. His wife, Madhulika, also completed her studies in Delhi and did a graduation in psychology from Delhi University. Her family currently lives in the ancestral residence Rajabagh in Shahdol district, headquarters in Madhya Pradesh. Madhulika got married to General Bipin Rawat in 1985 when he was posted as captain in the Indian Army. Chhattisgarh Minister T.S. Singhdio said that Madhulika was a close family associate and used to visit them often in Bhopal. As a key functionary of the Army Wives Welfare Association, Madhulika Rawat was instrumental in several welfare programs for Army widows. Apart from Army Wives Welfare Association, she continued to do many types of social work, especially for cancer patients. So, our heartfelt tributes go to this couple and the 11 other officers who died in this accident. Yeah, back to you, Jenny.
Yeah, so meanwhile, Rajya Sabha MP Subramanian Swamy on December 8th sought a probe by a senior Supreme Court judge into the helicopter crash near Kunnur, in which General Bipin Rawat, his wife, and 11 others were killed. Now, he termed it as shocking and a big caution to national security. Final report has not come, so it is very difficult for me to say anything. But the mere fact that a military aircraft in a safe zone like Tamil Nadu has blown up, it appears to be. This is what Subramanian Swamy has quoted. And speaking to media, he said that it is something that requires very, very serious investigation. The public has to be taken into confidence. So, somebody, a senior Supreme Court judge, should investigate this matter. Now, this is quite,
Here, Jaydev, see,
yeah.
I would not take what Dr. Swamy says very seriously,
Mm.
because I think this is time for investigating and finding out what exactly went wrong. It will take time, and the government under Narendra Modi will do a good job of it. So let us trust our leader and
Yes.
not take comments by people who have no idea of what exactly happened and are just floating theories. So, yeah, moving on to the next story. A court notice has been given to Maharashtra minister for comments on Wankhede family. The bench has directed the senior NCP leader Nawab Malik to file an affidavit explaining why the court must not take any adverse action against him for the breach of undertaking. The Bombay High Court on Tuesday said that it seems that the Maharashtra minister Nawab Malik was willfully breached his understanding given to the High Court last month on not making any public statements against Narcotics Control Bureau's Mumbai Unit Chief, Samir Wankhede, and his family members. A bench of justices, S.J. Kathawala and Milind Yadav, directed the senior NCP leader to file an affidavit explaining why the court must not take any adverse action against him for the breach of undertaking. The bench was hearing an application filed by Samir Wankhede's father, Yandev Wankhede, alleging that despite assuring the High Court last month that he will not make any public statements against the Wankhedes, Mr. Malik continued to make such defamatory statements. He had approached the High Court on Monday through senior counsel Virendra Saraf seeking an urgent hearing. On Tuesday, Mr. Saraf submitted portions of an interview that Malik had given recently to a regional newspaper, wherein he had made the alleged defamatory comments. Malik's counsel, Karl Tamboli, told the High Court that he had given the said interview as a spokesperson of his political party and not in his personal capacity. The bench, however, held that the said comments were in breach of his undertaking given to the court. This is impinging on our order, recording Malik's undertaking not to tweet or make public statements against the Wankhedes. He, that is Malik, is overreaching our order. Before we take any action against the respondent, we direct him to file his affidavit, setting out as to why the action should not be taken against him for willful breach of statement and undertaking itself. Yes, back to you, Jay.
Now, in an interesting piece of news, Virat Kohli refuses to step down as captain, and BCCI cracks the whip and opts for Rohit Sharma as the captain. Now, after the poor performance in the World Cup, the BCCI ended Virat Kohli's reign as the Indian captain with a rather matter-of-fact statement handing the reins to Rohit Sharma. Now, the BCCI, it has learned that it waited for the last 48 hours for Kohli, who has already relinquished T20 captaincy, to voluntarily step down from ODI leadership as well, but he did not. Now, by the 49th hour, losing the position to Rohit Sharma was simply, this thing. So, perhaps in the most telling way of telling someone that his time was up, Kohli's sacking was not even addressed by the BCCI statement, which merely stated that at the selection committee was decided to name Rohit Sharma as captain of the ODI and T20 teams going forward. And the BCCI and its national selection committee sacked Kohli, and he is, like many people are saying, are very upset on Twitter with this decision, and they are putting the blame on the BCCI in this regard, and Saurav Ganguly and everyone.
Yes. Apparently, one person was injured in a low-intensity bomb blast at Rohini Court in Delhi. Although it was initially assumed that a laptop had exploded in the court, later it was found that the explosion was a low-intensity IED blast. Panic gripped people at Rohini Court in Delhi, and proceedings stopped after a mysterious blast was reported at courtroom number 102 in the morning of December 9. The explosion took place where the Metropolitan Magistrate hears traffic-related cases. Initially, there was no clarity on the nature and source of the explosion, and some reports had claimed that a laptop in the court had exploded, causing panic among people. However, later it was reported that the actual cause of the explosion was a low-intensity tiffin bomb. According to reports, there was an explosion in a bag kept in court room number 102 of Rohini court. Reportedly, an improvised explosive device and a tiffin-like object were recovered from the site. Forensic experts have joined the investigation to ascertain whether it was a laptop that blasted or a tiffin bomb was planted. NSG has also been called to meet any emergency, and Delhi Police Commissioner Rakesh Asthana is set to reach the court premise. Deputy Commissioner of Police Rohini Pranav Tayal is supervising the investigation. For security reasons, the court proceedings were suspended. As many as 7 fire tenders were rushed at the court premises, and the Rohini Bar has confirmed at least one person got injured in the blast. The injured person has been identified as Constable Rajiv Kumar, and he was rushed to a nearby Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar Hospital for treatment. The fire department informed that they received information about the explosion at 10:40 a.m., and the firefighting team was quickly rushed. An official statement issued by the Delhi police said, an incident of minor low-intensity explosion in a laptop bag has occurred at Rohini Court complex at around 10:30 a.m. The spot has been cordoned off. Forensic and NSG teams are inspecting and examining it. Sometime back, a shootout took place at Rohini Court. This was in September 24, where gangster Jitendra Gogoi and 3 others were killed. After this incident, security at the court was tightened. Yeah, back to you, Jaydev, about the farmers' protest.
I have something on Samir Wankhede.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, Samir Wankhede visits Chaitya Bhumi, which is jeered by a section of Ambedkarites. Now, an Ambedkarite was seen asking Samir Wankhede, declare that you are a Buddhist, to which the officer replies, I am Buddha. Now, a section of Ambedkarites jeered at NCB Zonal Director Samir Wankhede when he visited the Chaitya Bhumi on Monday to pay his respects to Dr. Baba Sahib Ambedkar. However, the Republican Party of India, which is the RPI, termed it as an unfortunate incident. Wankhede is presently embroiled, like he is facing a lot of attacks from MVA and Nawab Malik. So an Ambedkarite was seen asking Wankhede, declare that you are a Buddhist. So now speaking to reporters, one of the Ambedkarites said Samir Wankhede does not have the moral right to be here because every educated person should follow Baba Sahib's principles. Why did Wankhede feel the need of coming here only today? The Ambedkar movement is being carried on by people who are working at the grassroots level. These people take advantage of the reservation policy introduced by Baba Sahib, but they never take his name or work for Baba Sahib's community like building a school or hospital. However, Avinash Methkar, he's a spokesperson for the Republican Party, RPI. Now, he quoted, I was there when the incident took place. It's unfortunate. Any person who feels connected to Baba Sahib and wants to pay respect to him can come here. It does not matter what is his religion or caste. When the media asked Samir Wankhede to comment on this particular incident, he said that I'm spiritually connected to Bhagwan Gautam Buddha and Baba Sahib. Okay. And I idolize Baba Sahib. This is not the first time I have come here. I have come to Chaitya Bhumi many times with my friends and family to pay my respects. Even today, thousands of people have supported me. This is what.
Yeah. Moving on to the farmers' issue. Yeah. Moving on to the farmers' protests. It has been withdrawn after the government agrees to all demands, and the protest sites are to be evacuated on Saturday with a victory march. The decision to end or suspend the protests came after the union government wrote a letter today to the leaders of Samyukta Kisan Morcha agreeing to form a committee on MSP, withdrawing cases against protesters and agreeing for compensation. The year-long protests by some farmer organizations against the 3 farm laws came to an end today after the union government agreed to all demands by them. After the 3 farm reform laws were withdrawn, the Modi government further gave in to the protests and agreed to consider the demand for a loan on minimum support price (MSP), after which the Samyukta Kisan Morcha decided to call off the protests. The agitating farmer unions have decided to vacate the borders in Delhi. It is occupying for more than a year and will return home on 11th December. However, some farmers have already started dismantling the camps that they had built on the highways on the Delhi border, and some of them may start leaving from today itself. Meanwhile, in a very amusing piece of news, over 40 camels were disqualified from a beauty contest in Saudi Arabia for using Botox. The camel breeders had injected camels' heads and lips with Botox to make them look bigger for the beauty contest. Saudi Arabia authorities have launched the biggest ever crackdown on manipulators who have been giving Botox injections and other artificial touch ups to their camels for the annual Camel Beauty Contest. The organizers have said in a statement that they would impose strict penalties against those who had indulged in the acts of tampering and deception. Reports suggest that over 40 camels have been disqualified from the beauty contest. The Camel Beauty Pageant is a month long festival that takes place in Riyadh, the capital of Saudi Arabia, which is located on the northeast side of the desert. The judges have increased their drive against the manipulators who have been artificially enhancing the camels using different methods to improve the looks of their camels. The Saudi press agency said on Wednesday that the judges were using specialized and advanced technology to detect the cases of tampering. This year, the Saudi authorities found out that many breeders have used hormones to improve the muscles of the camels. They have reportedly injected camels' heads and lips with Botox to make them look bigger. The breeders also used rubber bands to inflate body parts and used fillers to relax their faces. In its report, SPA said the club is keen to halt all acts of tampering and deception in the beautification of camels, and the organizers have decided to impose heavy penalties against the manipulators. Apart from being unfair to artificially enhance the beauty of the camels for the contest, the Botox injections and other methods used are also injurious to the animals. Reportedly, one camel had ruptured its lips after getting injected with Botox for another beauty contest. King Abdulaziz Camel Festival of Saudi Arabia started earlier this month. The prize money for the contest is around 66 million. As per the regulations, Botox injections, facelifts, and other cosmetic alterations are strictly prohibited as they make the camels more presentable than usual. Several factors, including the shape of the camel's head, neck, hump, postures, and dresses, play a vital role in deciding the winner. The beauty contest is part of the massive festival that also features sales, festivities, and camel races. The idea is to preserve the role of camels in the Bedouin tradition and heritage of the kingdom. Camel breeding in the Middle East is a multi-million-dollar industry, and similar festivals take place across the region. So that's about all the news. So we'll also
Yeah,
take
and
some
I
of your
have
comments.
one piece of news is that actor Jacqueline Fernandez has been summoned by the Enforcement Directorate today in connection with the money laundering case involving alleged conman Sukesh Chandrasekhar. And she has spent around 8 hours in the office of the ED on Wednesday, yet that was yesterday. And she was questioned, and her statement was recorded in multiple sessions under the PMLA, which is the Prevention of Money Laundering Act. Now, the agency is continuing with the questioning today, and she has been grilled by the ED at least twice early this year in this case, during which she also was confronted with Sukesh. Now, the agency suspects that she is a beneficiary of the proceeds of the crime allegedly generated by Sukesh Chandrasekhar after conning and extorting money from some high profile people. Now, her associate was also grilled by the agency yesterday. So it's like the ED is continuing to summon her, and we'll have to wait and see what happens after all
Yeah,
this.
yeah. I've given the link, friends. If you'd like to join us, please
Yeah.
join and interact with us. Meanwhile, what I like to say is that, see, if you watch social media carefully, you'll find that a lot of these leftist journalists, have spoken very, very, sort of, with hidden words. They have spoken very badly about the demise of the general, and including people like Priyanka Chaturvedi, who is the the Shiv Sena spokesperson. And I don't know how these people can even think about tweeting in such a manner when such a great hero has died, someone who has fought for our country, someone who has India's pride. So this has been happening, and it is absolutely, we find that we are ashamed of such people. You have enemies outside, but we have enemies within as well. Nitin says this is ridiculous that 50,000 people will change the parliament past rule doing dharna.
Yeah,
No,
I would like to add one more piece of news. Is that on Twitter there have been like so-called conspiracy theories have emerged after the crash of General Bipin Rawat. Many social media users allege China could have orchestrated the incident given the ongoing standoff with Ladakh. And many of these conspiracy theories refer to a similar incident in Taiwan last year. In early January 2020, Taiwan's Chief of General Staff, General Shen Yimang, and 7 others were killed when the helicopter they were on crashed in the mountains near Taipei. Shen was the senior most official in the Taiwanese military and a very key figure in its air force. The helicopter crashed was a US made UH-60M Black Hawk. Now, eminent strategic analyst Brahma Chalani was among those who referred to the Taiwan crash on Wednesday evening. He tweeted, General Rawat's death has an eerie parallel with the helicopter crash in early 2020 that killed Taiwan's Chief General Staff General Shen Yiming and 7 others, including 2 other major generals. Each helicopter crash eliminated a key figure in the defense against PRC's aggression. However, he emphasized that the crashes were not necessarily connected. The strange parallel doesn't mean that there was any connection between the 2 helicopter crashes or an outside hand. If anything, each crash had raised important internal questions, especially about the maintenance of military helicopters transporting top generals. So this is what another. I mean, it's quite a coincidence if you look at it that way.
there will be a lot of theories, but we would rather wait for a
Yeah.
proper investigation to be done, as we mentioned earlier. Now, looking at some of the comments, Poonam Bansal says the general warned India of biological warfare, which Bill Gates hinted to next epidemic will be worse. Another martyr killed. Om Shanti. Stop the forced vaccine mandate. Silence weapons killing many. Now, people are divided on the vaccine issue, so I don't know. Whether we can say something about that. Okay, moving on to Mariam Siddiqui from Pakistan. Please accept my condolence for the general. Thank you, Mariam. Nitin, nation lost the son of India and many others. God rest in peace. Welcome. Good morning, as usual. Wouldn't be able to wait. Thank you, Sash, for becoming a member of Candid Meena. Really happy to know that you're joining us. Rochelle, RIP CDS Rawat, thank you so much, Meena and Jaydev. "2021 is a bad year for Army for MiG crash. Now that's a great loss." Yes. Karthik, too early to say anything. Let the investigations be completed. That's right, Karthik, what you said. Maya, hello, Meena and Jay. Feeling sad about this irreplaceable loss to the nation, a great setback to our defense program. See, but bear in mind, Maya, that, and this is also to all the other viewers, that we have people coming up constantly. They're trained by people like General, and we always have the second in line. So it's nothing to be scared about. India is not such a country where it's only one powerful general. No, constantly youngsters are being trained to take positions and the knowledge is shared among them, so we can always hope for more people like the general to take his place. So that's another thing that I wanted to mention for our beloved CGS, his wife and others who left the body. Yes. Leonara, those who celebrate the deaths of our armed forces are just heartless people who have no conscience. Absolutely. Today's Times of India paper, read condolence message written by Rahul Gandhi. He's the least important for us because they are the ones who use this kind of tragedies to show their stupidity. He and his spokespersons are have absolutely no other job. Can't they stand with Indians? Can't they show that they have patriotism? No, they don't. They just criticize, and that's it. Mugli, ma'am, is it safely to openly? This has already appeared in the media, so it's nothing that is. Whenever something is secret, we do not mention it. Mugli. Maya, my brother-in-law, a retired brigadier who was also given lectures at Wellington, says this was such a routine sortie. No one could believe that such a routine trip could end so disastrously. Yes. Nitin, oh yeah, you've already mentioned that. Maya, isn't this a second instance of breach of security at Rohini court? Why these repeated events taking place is very worrisome. Intelligence failure, yes. And because Arvind Kejriwal is the chief minister of Delhi, I don't trust anyone there. But at least we have a very good police force under, Astana. Sylvia, it's such a bad incident that ended all their lives. May their souls rest in peace. Yes. Dinara, why question anyone's religion in the first place? Yes. This is with regards to, I think, Samir Wankhede. This is the 6th or 7th, okay, referring to something else. NM spoke about this and looks like being the instigator behind this. I think you're talking about Nawab Malik. Yes, you already read this. I want to protest against Suraj Pancholi. He must get convicted and jailed for murdering Jia Khan's mother. Okay, friends, I'd like to tell you on Saturday, Jia's mother will be joining us for a session. So please do join us on Saturday. Maya says, camels and Botox and beauty parents. Yeah. We want justice for SSR and Disha. Yes. Kartik. Nothing should be assumed till the investigation is complete. Yes. Sylvia, exactly. It's shameful for people to degrade those who have been fighting for the country and putting their lives at stake. Such heartless comments, yes. Jyotirmoy, very sad. Om Shanti, Bipin Rawat, yes. Sandeep, biggest loss of the country during these hard times. Om Shanti. Arinya, ma'am, this is my third message. After I sent, it's not surfacing. Hope this comes up. I haven't seen any of your earlier messages, Arinya. I don't know what's the problem here. Maya, no, ma'am.
Network problem.
Yeah, no, ma'am. When I said a setback for defense, it is in terms of knowledge and information and training that the general and his men possess. And yes, absolutely. It's a huge amount of knowledge and experience. So that's a very big loss. Absolutely.
And one more important thing is that General Rawat's demise, along with his wife and 11 other army people, it has united Indians of all, states and irrespective of their age and everyone, they have, come as one and shown the nationalist spirit, which is very good, and it is needed at this point of time because in the Indian economy is going upwards and it's becoming a major superpower in world politics, and many countries are jealous of the Indian growth.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's all the news for today. We'll see you tomorrow. And if Mohit is free, he will join us tomorrow, he said. So if he does, it will be a very interesting session to join us tomorrow. Good night, friends. And thank you for your useful comments. And good night.
Good night.